Hey guys, it's Miss Raymond, and today for math we are going to learn how to find the circumference of a circle. All right, so the circumference is the distance around a circle. Okay, so we are going to talk a little bit about what we learned about previously and how that's related. So we learned how to find the radius and the diameter of a circle. And here you can see here's a diagram of a circle. So your diameter goes to the middle, goes to the center, connects to points on either side. And the radius goes from a point on the side to the center. And then you can see the circumference goes around the circle. So we learned that the diameter equals 2 times the radius, and we learned how to figure out what the radius was if we had the diameter and vice versa. All right, so that's what we learned about previously. Today we are going to focus on learning how to find the circumference of a circle, which is the distance around a circle. All right. All right. In order to learn more about circumference of a circle, we are going to watch video from studyjams.com, and we're going to do some practice problems, and we're going to learn about, there's 2 different ways to find circumference. As you can see here, circumference equals 2 times pi times r, or circumference equals pi times diameter. So we'll learn more about that. All right, so here we are, studyjams.com, where we're going to learn that in order to find circumference, we have to use pi, and pi is a rational number that goes on forever with no pattern, and we'll learn more about that. So,
you know that you can use perimeter to measure the distance around a polygon, but it doesn't work quite the same for circular objects. The distance around a circular object is called circumference. The equation for finding circumference is circumference equals diameter times pi, or c equals d times pi. Since 2 times the radius equals diameter, you can also say c equals 2r times pi. Let's help Zoe find the circumference of her grandparents' pool. First, we have to identify the length of the diameter. The diameter of the pool is 12 feet. The next step is to multiply the diameter by pi. You can round pi to 3.14 for this equation. 12 times 3.14 equals 37.68. The circumference of the pool is approximately equal to 37.68 feet. We have to say approximately equal to and use the wavy equal sign because we rounded pi to 3.14. Pi can be a tricky concept. It's represented by the Greek letter pi. We use 3.14 to represent pi, but there's actually a lot more to pi than meets the eye. Check out these facts about pi so that you can understand what's really going on with circumference. Pi is the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter. Since the ratio of the circumference to the diameter is the same for every circle, mathematicians give it a name. If the diameter of a circle is 1, its circumference is pi. Pi is an irrational number. That means it repeats forever, but there is no pattern. This is what pi to 50 decimal places looks like. See how there is no pattern of repeating numbers? It goes on and on like this forever. For our purposes, you can just round pi to 3.14. But remember, then you would have to say circumference is approximately equal to the diameter times 3.14. If you're using a calculator to find pi, you can usually just round your answer to the nearest hundredth. If you're using a facts about pi recap. Pi is the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter. Pi equals c divided by d. Pi is an irrational number. That means it repeats forever, but there is no pattern. When solving for circumference, you can just round pi to 3.14. Find the circumference of this DVD. Use 3.14 for pi.
All right, so this is a problem that we're going to try. So as you can see, our DVD, the diameter, it tells us, is equal to 4.5 inches. All right, so we just learned that in order to find circumference, that we can multiply pi, or 3.14, times the diameter. All right, so if you have a calculator handy, go ahead and get that out and use it. If you don't have one handy, you can pause the video and go find one. Should be able to have find a calculator on any smartphone. Most computers have them, and tablets as well, or you can just use a handheld calculator. All right, so if you need to get that, go ahead and pause the video and you can go get your calculator. So we are going to use 3.14, which is pi, and we're going to multiply it times the diameter, which is 4.5. So go ahead and give that a try and see what answer you get. All right, let's check.
That's it. 4.5 times 3.14 is 14.13.
All right. Hopefully that's the answer you got.
What is the circumference of RJ's bike wheel? Use 3.14 for pi.
Okay, so this time we know the radius, right? So remember, R stands for radius, instead of the diameter. So this time around, we need to use a different formula to find the circumference. Okay, so this time, in order to find circumference, we are going to take pi and we're going to multiply it times 2 times r. So, because remember the radius, right? That's halfway across. So radius times 2 would give us our diameter, right? So you substitute pi, remember, for 3.14, right? And then you're going to multiply that times 2. And then our radius is 13, so then you're going to multiply it by 13. Okay? So go ahead and give that a try. You can use a calculator if you have one handy, like I said. So 2 times 13 should give you 26, right? And then if you multiply that times 3.14, go ahead and try that. All right, and see what you get. I got 81.64 inches.
Nice one! 81.64 inches is approximately the circumference of RJ's bike wheel. Multiply the radius by 2 to find the diameter. Then you multiply the diameter, 26 inches, by pi.
All right, so hopefully that's what you got, and you're going to All right, so we're going to test our knowledge about circumference with a few questions, a few multiple choice questions here. So you can just jot down the answers on a piece of paper. So there's going to be 4 choices. So you can just write down A, B, C, or D, and then you can check to see if you're correct. All right. All right, so the first question is, what is circumference? Is it A, the distance around a polygon, B, the distance around a circular object, C, the amount of space a circular object takes up, or D, twice the radius of a circular object? All right, you choose what you think is the correct answer, and then we will check our answers at the end. I'm going to go with B, the distance around a circular object. All right, so our next question asks, what is the equation for finding circumference? Okay, this is question 2. So this little strange looking symbol here is supposed to represent the pi symbol. The computer wasn't able to make it correctly. So your choices are A, circumference equals the diameter times pi, B, circumference equals 2 times the radius times pi, C, circumference is equal to the diameter times pi, or D, all of the above. So you go ahead and choose what you think is the correct answer, and we'll check them here in a minute. I'm going to go with D, all of the above. Okay, so what does pi represent? Again, this is supposed to be the little pi symbol. That really should look more like this. That helps. All right, so what does pi represent? A, the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter, which is approximately 3.14. B, the ratio of a circle's circumference to its radius, approximately 3.1. C, the ratio of a circle's circumference to its radius, approximately 3.14. Or D, the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter, approximately 3. All right, so you go ahead and choose what you think is the correct answer. All right, I'm going to go with A. All right, when pi is run into 3.14 to solve for circumference, what must happen to the equal sign? So you leave the equal sign A as it is. B, you change the equal sign to the approximately equal sign, those squiggly wavy lines. C, you change the equal sign to a greater than or equal to sign. Or D, you change the equal sign to a less than or equal to sign. All right, you go ahead and choose what you think is the correct answer. And then we'll check here in a minute. I'm going to go with B, change it to the approximately equal sign. All right, next question. This should be question number 5. What is an irrational number? Is it A, a number that has a decimal point? B, a negative number? C, a number that goes on forever without a repeating pattern? Or D, a number that goes on forever with a repeating pattern? All right, you go ahead and choose what you think is the right answer, and we'll check it here in a minute. All right, I'm gonna go with C, a number that goes on forever without a repeating pattern. All right, question number 6 says to find the circumference of a circle if the radius is 4 inches. Use 3.14 for pi. All right, so let me get my pencil here. So if we are trying to find the circumference, remember, so pi, right, times either, if you have the diameter, it would be pi times d, but in this case we have the radius, so it's going to be pi times 2 times the radius, right? So in this case, it's going to be pi, remember, is 3.14 times 2 times the radius, and our radius is 4, so times 4. So let's see what answer you get. So go ahead and continue to solve that. All right, so if you multiply 2 times 4, you should get 8. And then you're going to multiply that times 3.14. And if you multiply 3.14 times 8, you should get what? See if you can figure it out. All right. Is it A? C is approximately equal to 25.12 inches. B, C is equal to 25.12 inches. C, circumference is approximately equal to 12.56 inches. Or D, circumference is equal to 12.56 inches. All right, let me erase this. And you choose what you think is the right answer. And we will check here in just a minute. All right, I am going to go with A. And we are going to go ahead. Let's see. All right, we're going to check our answers now. So for question number 1, what is circumference? It was B, the distance around a circular object. Question 2, what is the equation for finding circumference? So it was D, all of the above. So circumference equals diameter times pi, circumference equals 2 times the radius times pi, or C equals D times pi. All right, what does pi represent? It is A, the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter, which is approximately 3.14. When pi is rounded to 3.14, to solve for circumference, what must happen to the equal signs? They must be change the equal sign to the approximately equal sign, the little wavy sign. What is an irrational number? All right. So the answer to that question, which is question 5, I believe, is a number that goes on forever without a repeating pattern. And then our last question, question 6, find the circumference of a circle if the radius is 4 inches. And that should be circumference is approximately equal to 25.12 inches. All right, so hopefully you did pretty well with those questions. So we are going to move on and go back to our PowerPoint for a little bit. All right, so to review how to find the circumference when you're given the diameter of a circle. So here's an example problem. It says find the circumference of the circle below. If you have the diameter, you multiply the diameter by 3.14 or pi. So as you can see, here's your formula. Circumference equals pi times d. So C equals pi times d. And then you're going to substitute the values for pi and d. So we know that pi is 3.14, right? So it's pi. And then, so we can look at our circle here. The diameter of the circle is 10 centimeters. So we're going to substitute d with 10. So 3.14 times 10 will give you approximately 31.4 centimeters. Okay. All right, how to find the circumference when you are given the radius of a circle. So here's another example. Find the circumference of the circle below. So if you have the radius, like we do in this case, which is 3 meters, you multiply this by 2 first to get the diameter, and then you multiply by pi. So here is your formula. Circumference, or C, is equal to pi times d. So in this case, what we've done is we've multiplied the diameter times 2 to get d. So let me show you that. So we've taken 2 times r to get d, or diameter, right? So in this case, our radius was 3. So 2 times 3, right, would give us D, or diameter, right? So they've already figured that out down here, and then they've just taken and multiplied pi 3.14 times 6, which gives you approximately 18.84 meters. All right. Okay. All right. So we are going to practice finding the circumference of a circle. All right. So here are 2 circles below. So we're going to practice finding the circumference of each circle. All right. So let me get my pen. And so here is our first circle. Our diameter is 12 centimeters. So I want you to try to solve that. Think about what is the formula, right, for finding circumference. So C equals, now we have the diameter, right? This is the diameter. So D, so in this case, it's just going to be pi times D, pi times diameter, right? All right, so go ahead and try that one out, and then we'll check our answer, okay? All right, so you should be substituting pi, 3.14 for pi times 12, the diameter, and then you can solve to see what that answer would be, which we will check that here in just a minute on the next slide. All right, so when you go ahead and find the circumference of this circle. Now, if you'll notice this time we have the radius, right? So 8 centimeters is our radius. So this time you got to remember, right? You got to use C, circumference equals pi times 2 times R, right? To find the circumference, okay? So go ahead and try that one out, and then we're going to check our answers on the next screen here in just a minute, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and check our problem. So C equals pi times D, so our circumference is 3.14 times 12. And when you multiply that, you get approximately 37.68 centimeters. So really, these equals should just be the squiggly lines, but since it was typed, can't really show that. All right, so, and over here on this circle, we had a radius of 8 centimeters. So as you can see, they took and figured out what the diameter was first, right? So remember 2 times the radius, so 2 times 8. Let me use my pen. So they did 2 times the radius, right? That's how they got this 2 times 8 equals the diameter of 16, right? Because 2 times the radius gives you your diameter. And then they multiplied 3.14 times 16, okay? And you got approximately 50.24. So again, it should be squiggly lines. All right, we are going to do a little bit more practice. All right, so we're going to practice some more with finding the circumference of a circle. So we're going to go to khanacademy.org in order to do that. All right, so here is your problem. So I want you to practice on your paper with your calculator and see if you can find what is the circumference of the following circle. So here's our circle, and we know what is labeled here. 4 centimeters is what? Diameter, right? So you have your diameter. So you just need to use your formula, which I will write here for you. All right, so the circumference equal to pi times the diameter, right? So that means go ahead and replace pi with 3.14, right? And then you're going to go ahead and multiply that times the diameter, which is what? 4, right? All right, so go ahead and do that and see what you get. All right, so 3.14 times 4, hopefully you calculated that. And let's see, I got 12.56 centimeters. Let's see what you got. That's all right, that is correct. All right, we're gonna try a couple more problems, okay? So your next question is asking what is the diameter of the circle. All right. All right, so we're just gonna skip over that problem because we are focusing on finding circumference. So let's look at this problem. What is the circumference of the following circle? All right, so it tells us that r, the radius, is equal to 1. Okay, and I've written the formula here for you. So circumference C equals pi times 2 times r. So pi times 2 times the radius. So I want you to go ahead and give that one a try. Remember that you're substituting 3.14 per pi. All right, go ahead and give that one a try, and then we will practice, okay? All right, so pi we know, oops, I don't have my pencil. Pi we know is equal to 3.14. So we're going to multiply 3.14 times 2 times r. In this case, r is 1, right? So hopefully you got that. So to finish it up, 2 times 1 should give you what? 2, right? And then you're just multiplying 2 times 3.14, which should give you, I believe it should be 6.28 units. All right, that was correct. All right, good job. All right, well, that is all I have for today. So hopefully you learned something about finding circumference of a circle, and you should have received in the mail some written work that will allow you to practice the skill as well. So go ahead and you can work on that. I believe you can work on that tomorrow.